But moving on to video games. At Comic Con, a lot of Mortal Kombat news was shown.
Hmm.
So there was a trailer called Umgadi, which showed off some returning characters. Did you managed to check this trailer out, right?
Yes.
So Lee May returns for the first time since Mortal Kombat Armageddon in 2007, and
Wow.
Tanya returns for the first time since Mortal Kombat X, which came out like 2013, and she wasn't added till like a year or two later. So she's been in like Mortal Kombat recently. um, and she has a 3 section staff, which is like one of my favorite martial arts weapons ever. They're just cool. 3 section staff is just cool. I like watching people
Very,
use it. I have like a bunch of YouTube videos saved of people just using 3 section staffs because it's just such a cool weapon. Um,
very cool.
uh, they show Baraka is a playable character. And Tarkatans, rather than being a race of people, are people struck with a disease that disfigures them and turns them into bloodthirsty creatures. And Melina has that disease, and that's how they're explaining why she looks like a Tarkatan. So,
Interesting.
so Darius is a cameo character, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know who he was until now. Um, he debuted in Mortal Kombat Deception and was last playable in Armageddon, which Armageddon was kind of like the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate of Mortal Kombat back in the day, where it had up until that point every character that had ever been in Mortal Kombat.
Wow.
Um, so there's also leaked pictures and videos taken from a cutscene that was shown at Comic Con that shows that Reiko is going to be a playable character, who's another character hasn't been in the game since Armageddon, and Motaro, who is a I've talked about him briefly in other episodes. He's a centaur, and he's going to be a
Right.
cameo because, or they haven't said he's going to be a cameo, but people assume he's going to be a cameo because you can't play as a centaur in a fighting game. How are you going to make that work?
Right.
Um, so yeah, I'm excited to see those two characters come back. Um, but we're going to talk about some racism in the community of fighting games. There's a serious case of implicit and unconscious bias happening with Tanya's design. For the
Oh
first
boy.
time, due to the fact that graphics have come so far and the graphic fidelity is so high, she is unmistakably a black woman. Now, if you look at her previous designs, you will notice MKX people, for the sake of, defending her, people are saying that she looks black in MKX. She doesn't. I'm gonna be real. I don't think Tanya looks black in MKX at all. But in her previous experience, appearance before that, she looked black as hell. She looked like she was a black woman. She just had straight hair.
Right.
She just looked like a black
You
woman
look
with straight hair. And now in this game, she looks like a black woman, but she doesn't have straight hair. She has more black hair. Her hair looks more like hair that a black person would have. And some
yeah.
people are calling her ugly. And something similar happened with Kimberly from Street Fighter 6, where people were making fun of her forehead and saying that she looked like a black caricature because there's the very prominent hit shape of black people where the jaw and like that area will jut out from a side profile that people
Right.
was always used throughout history as in racist conversations. And Kimberly looks like that because she is a black girl and she looks great. Most people agree that Kimberly has one of the greatest character designs in Street Fighter history. But
Right.
there was some racism when she was announced. And a lot of people clearly just aren't used to seeing black people in video games and are dumbfounded when they're accurately depicted. And
Yeah.
plus,
It's like
go ahead.
I'm looking. I looked her up. This design goes absolutely insane. I love
Exactly,
it.
she looks great. Nobody said anything about her clothes. They're purely talking about her face because they just can't accept that black people exist and don't conform to what people consider to be beautiful based on what white people look like.
Right. European beauty standards.
Exactly.
She's gorgeous. Like
She looks great.
people are tripping.
Implicit bias is a form of bias that occurs automatically and sometimes unintentionally, but nevertheless, it affects people's judgments and their behavior, and is usually caused by racism, sexism, ableism, whatever, etc. And in
Right.
this
Right.
case, is definitely founded in some racism. And y'all just need to meet some more black people. Like, go outside, touch grass,
Please go outside and touch grass. Ugh.
because I don't know if you know this, black people exist. They aren't made up. They aren't fantasy creatures.
Right. We
And
are here.
and that is what they look like. That is a black woman. But
That could be my aunt. For real. For real.
yeah. But last but not least, the leaks were correct. The combat pack for Mortal Kombat 1, the first combat pack, will consist of Quan Chi, Ermac in his worst design ever, Takeda, who people have been wanting back for a long time, Peacemaker, Omni Man, and Homelander. To me, I thought it was fake because I was like, why would they have both Omni Man and Homelander? That's
And
kind of
later.
weird. It's weird to have both of these two Superman type characters in the same game, but it's super surprising that it happened. Like legitimately, I'm
Right.
awestruck. But I don't know, man. I hope they'll be fun to play.
Yeah. Someone on Twitter, because I saw the leaks. Someone on Twitter was like, "Big day for homophobic little boys," and I was like, "Ah,
That's that's hilarious.
it's true, but you shouldn't say."
That's funny. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they play like eventually. Um,
Yeah.
no, for Mortal Kombat 10, there were always a theme for different combat packs. For Mortal Kombat 10, it was horror. For 11, it was like 80s action characters with a couple outliers like Spawn and Joker who were comic characters, whereas the rest were like RoboCop and Rambo and Terminator. Uh,
RoboCop in a Mortal Kombat game is a little insane.
yeah, I mean, RoboCop is known to be unnecessarily violent.
True, 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 true.
um, but yeah, I'm curious to see if there's a theme to the combat pack for this game, or if, excuse me, it'll be more of a mix. So
It'd be,
let sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it'd be fun to have more of a mix.
Yeah,
Gives them more leeway.